Well, it occurs to me that some might have thought it presumptuous.
It was presumptuous. It really was. I mean, who were we? Because we weren't even the real thing.
And
Yeah.
I'm also curious as to whether, you know, having gone through that era, in the 21st century, could a handful of strong personalities pull together
Well,
something like that?
Well, one thing that we really did was that our club, you'd have a Russian person turning up and singing songs from Chile, and I would stand up and sing a song from France, and Ewan McColl would sing, I was born in Indiana, and it was my native home, and there was a lot of identity crises going on. Yeah, and I was undergoing one myself. And so we instituted what was called a policy in our club, which is you sing in a language that you understand and are fluent in, and preferably you sing from roughly near where your culture is. And that put the cat among the pigeons, because most of the English people were singing American songs. They were butchering Lead Belly. And of course, you know, it's one thing to sing it in the bathroom or while you're ironing, but if you're getting up on stage, you are a representative. So we said, you know, if you're English, sing English songs. If you're Scottish, sing Scottish songs. So I reduced right back from singing the things I'd had at the International House. I love them. I still sing them. You know, Viva la Quince Brigada. But only at home. Now, your immediate thing is, okay, Pete. You know, you say, well, he sang all these, but his function was different. It was very different.
He was spreading them.
He was spreading them, and he was getting a lot of people, and he was also a cultural ambassador, which I wasn't. So that's what we were doing in the group, was trying to figure out how to sing these songs, and to... Now the English people sing all kinds of English songs, and they started collecting them, going out into their pubs and, you know, walking into a bar saying, anybody here sing Lambkin? You know, which is... And this old fella said, yeah, I know that one. Nobody's ever asked me before. So it was interesting. And I think to a large extent, some of our presumptuousness resulted in the way the English revival and Scottish revival are now, where everybody, there's some wonderful musicians, songwriters and singers of...
Mm-hmm. And these days when in many corners folk equals acoustic, I keep saying, no. It's a cultural thing, and it's what you said, that it's a cultural thing. Yeah, well, that's the connection. That's the connection of folk.
I don't talk about it much anymore.
Yeah, well,
I just try to do it.
I sometimes am pushy about such things.
Good. I'm very glad. It's a relay race, Mary.
Yeah, and in the in your book, they will read all about the radio ballads, which were re-released and on CDs and such. I have a set, I'm very pleased to say. And you must have been asked a million times, what was your reaction when you first heard the first time ever?
Oh, well, Ewan and I weren't getting on. No, I'd gone back to the States. I wasn't going to have anything to do with a married man. Yeah, he was married, he had a child. And Mary's getting impatient.
Yeah.
End with a song.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you aren't going to tell us how you felt when you first...
Well,
Well,
I was very glad. I was very glad to have the song, because the radio program that I was doing, they wanted a contemporary love song that wasn't longer than a minute and a half, and I didn't have one, and he sang it to me over the phone, and it was originally meant to be a minute and a half. You know, Roberta Flack makes it 4.5 minutes. But that's just a different kind of music, and she does a great job with it, you know. But it was written differently, you know.
So it wasn't a big romantic thing at the time.
No.
I hope it got that way
I'm
later.
sorry. I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay. This is great folklore.
I'll remember to put that in my memoir.
So are you going to serenade us?
Let's do one we can all
to
do.
The pies or whatever.
I'd like to thank the Historic Society for doing such a wonderful job of this. I never expected to see so many people. I just did not. And there's a wonderful exhibition in there. And my grandson is waiting to sell you CDs because we have enabled a credit card machine. And that's the first time, because I'm not really commercially minded, not much. Okay, so thank you. Good, I would have forgotten that. Here we are. So there's sweeties in there. There's some lovely stuff. You ought to see Miss Cindy, lives way down south. She's so sweet, the honeybees swarm around her mouth. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, I'll marry you someday. Now the first time I saw Cindy, she was standing in the door, shoes and stockings in her hand and her feet all over the floor. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Cindy, Cindy, I'll marry you someday. Cindy is a pretty girl, Cindy's mighty tall. She sleeps in the kitchen with her feet out in the hall. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, I'll marry you someday. Cindy got religion, you know just what she done. She marched up to that preacher and chawed her chewing gum. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Cindy, Cindy, get along home. I'll marry you someday. We all know different ways of singing this. Sing it your own way. It all seems to go together. I would not marry Cindy. Now here's the reason why. Oh no, that's a horrible verse. Yeah, Cindy has some pretty bad verses. Now when you go fishing, fish with a hook and line. When you go to marry, you never look behind. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Cindy, Cindy, I'll marry you someday. Higher up the cherry tree, sweeter grows the cherries. Now I think we'll get off stage, 'cause just look at Mary. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, I'll marry you someday. She's sitting on the edge of her chair. There's a lot of verses to this song. I hope I've sung them well. Before I sing them all again, I'd see you all here. Well, get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, I'll marry you someday. I'd also like to thank Mary because you're a veteran. You really are. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Peggy Seeger.
So much. Now, Peggy and Mary have agreed to take questions for just a couple more minutes. They're on a bit of a tight time frame, but if anybody has questions, I'm going to ask, if you two want to repeat the question, that's fine, or if you'd like me to, that's fine. But Mary, maybe you'd want to repeat the questions that we get. Is that okay?
Sure. Liz?
You said in Moscow you made a fool of yourself.
What
What did you mean?
did she mean in Moscow when she made a fool of herself?
Ewan McColl and I were not getting along at all. And he was at the same festival. And he was in among the intelligentsia who were there, the poets, the writers, the political people, the classical musicians. And he was talking about working class politics. And he knew that I knew a lot of Union songs. And I knew songs about, they'd been from the McCarthy era. And so he said to his friends, he said, this young woman, she has some wonderful songs. So he got me along to sing there. And I was singing with Guy Carawan at the time. And we were trying to get the Russians to sing, a la Pete. I was Pete Seeger's sister, trying to be there and get everybody singing. And so I spent the whole of the concert doing religious songs. And it made a fool of him. And he swore off me for life. And it was really bad, It was he didn't tell me what to sing, but he did say, this is so-and-so, and they're the head of such and such a union, and this is so-and-so, and they're the head of the Politburo, and all that stuff, because it was a big festival, and it was the youth festival.
The Soviets had lots of big festivals.
Yeah, so I made a fool of myself. Not the first time.
And when was the song The Joy of Living written?
The Joy of Living, when was it written?
Between, let me see, it would be probably in the 80s. Ewan got his first heart attack when he was in 1979. He died in 1989. And we took a holiday with our daughter up to Stack Polly, which was one of his favorite climbing places. And he found that he could not climb the mountain. We were listening to a lot of Sicilian songs at the time, and he's based that. In fact, I think he's taken the tune Lock, Stock and Barrel from a Sicilian folk song. And he wandered around the bottom of the mountain while we climbed it. And it was his farewell to climbing, to mountain climbing, because he loved mountain climbing.
I was at his last concert in Tunbridge Wells.
Oh gosh, right. Yes, long time ago,
She was
25
at his
years
last
ago.
concert.
Yeah, he sang it beautifully. I can't sing it. I'm unable to sing it. Can't do it. It's a beautiful song, The Joy of Living. Yeah. Yes.
This will interest you, Peggy, since you mentioned Glen Echo.
Uh-huh.
I've been singing with a group called the Encore Chorale over at Glen Echo. The Washington Conservatory Music has a building in the complex. And Encore Chorale is for people 55 and up. We're about 2/3 women and 1/3 men. We'd love to have anybody in this group. So many of us learned to sing during your time, and you were an inspiration.
Gosh.
So if you're interested in hearing more about the Encore Chorale, it was started by a woman by the name of Jean Kelly, and it's starting to spread into other cities in the United States. I'll be glad to tell anybody more about it.
So you'll be in there by the sweet table, and
Okay.
lovely.
About the
Thank you.
Encore Chorale.
Encore Chorale. What a wonderful name.
Ken?
Yeah, hi. I'm Ken Roseman. I'm a music journalist, a big fan of English folk rock, and I wondered if you had ever worked with any of the people, like from Fairport Convention or Steel Eye Span or anything like that. And
Martin,
just listening to you sing now made me think that Maddie Pryor is like a mixture of you and Gracie Slick.
Wow.
He does.
That kind of sounds as if it's a bit scandalous. Well, we all influenced each other. For years I tried to sing like Jean Ritchie, and then I couldn't get that high. Then I tried to sing like Hallie Wood, and I couldn't get that low. We copy, I've worked with Martin McCarthy. I've worked with Dave Swarbrick. But on the whole, mostly worked with Ewan McColl because we kind of separated ourselves from the revival. We were just kind of an eternal duo.
Did you hear the new reworkings and new radio ballads that John Tams and that?
I have.
The
I
new
have.
radio ballads?
I have heard them.
Yeah, they came out on Got Records, I think.
Got some wonderful songs by Tams and by Jez Lowe on them.
Yes.
Maybe one more question. There were several hands in the back.
I just wanted to mention that there's a tribute to Pete tomorrow down at the Millennium Theater.
Oh.
Kennedy Center.
Millennium Stage, yeah.
Did you hear that? There's a tribute to Pete Seeger at the Millennium Stage tomorrow.
The Kennedy Center Millennium Stage. Mhm.
Okay.
6 p.m.
And it's free.
And it's free, as the Millennium Stage is always free. And Pete visited there. They wanted him to come to the Kennedy Center, and he said, "Kennedy Center? I don't know." And they said, "Well, we'll make it free." He said, "Oh, that's good." So they put him in the Millennium Stage, and the entire foyer of the Kennedy Center was packed.
We are all Pete's children, even though some of us are maybe a little bit older. Anybody above 95 here? But I mean, it's impossible to gauge the influence of Pete. You know, He's just an amazing, amazing man.
Yep. I'm still trying to get used to a world that without Pete in it, you know.
He's still here.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
On that note, we're going to say thank you again to both Peggy and Mary.